Hi.
Hi,
Nancy.
Ken.
How are you?
I'm
How you
great.
doing?
I'm
Good.
great. How
What's
are
going
you?
on? Good.
I brought the whole team with me today.
You did?
Well, not quite the whole team. We've
No.
got hundreds of volunteers, but
Hundreds.
we do.
Really?
Yeah, if you add up everybody that's on every committee, and the board, and the leadership team, and then the volunteers that want to just help out, we've got hundreds of people involved.
Okay.
It's cool. It's very cool.
Well, what's
And-
going on?
Well, I brought with me Suzanne McCormick and Mary Frances Adair, who are, Suzanne is our beautification committee
Mhm.
chair, and Mary Frances is on the beautification committee, and both of them are very deeply involved in the Veterans Freedom Fountain. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
And I also brought Charlie Council with me. And
Charlie, how you doing again?
I'm doing fine, glad to be here.
Good,
And
good.
Charlie and I are on the county landscape committee, so we've been coming and giving an update. Alan Hobart couldn't join us this morning, and Joe, if you're out there, we know you're there and listening, or you couldn't be here today, but he said he would call in, so.
Okay.
When Joe from the show calls in, like,
Very well.
he's such a great business person, and it's terrific when you see someone like that get involved and become a part of the solution, instead of just complaining about it, so we really appreciate him.
We know, Joe, you're out there somewhere in the cloud. We hope to hear from you.
And I also brought Mike Stevens, who's a familiar voice.
Yep.
And Mike being the Master Gardener extraordinaire, but he also is the chair of our Community Gardens Committee, and we've got a lot of exciting things going on with the community gardens, especially involving youth and children, so high school kids, so we want to give an update there as well, so.
It's just down swimming Saturday at the South County Pool, man. The garden's looking great.
Yeah, and actually I was there on Sunday morning doing some beautification of my own in the exterior areas. Yeah, it's looking really good over there. There's been some issues apparently with some thefts.
Uh-oh.
Oh, go figure. Get
Yeah,
out.
and they have-
Who called that?
Yeah.
That would be me.
Well, we've gone over a year without any issues at all, and apparently someone who owns a bed there went to do their harvesting one morning, and
Somebody beat him to it.
somebody was standing there with a bag filling it up.
Oh.
Caught him in the act.
And
Caught him
then
in the act.
claimed that it was their bed. Well, they were kind of escorted rather quickly out of the area, and I don't think we'll be seeing that individual again. However, they have put a combination lock on the front gates. For the time being, we're going to have some discussion about this, but for the time being, in order to stop during the harvest period, some of this from going on. And it's been some sporadic, but not really a big problem, but this past week it became a real issue. So we're going to be dealing with that in our committee meeting this month, and discussing how we go about dealing with that issue down the road. So, and we've got lots of other projects that I'll talk about as we go along here this morning.
All right.
Awesome. Well, Suzanne, why don't you fill us in on all of the great things that you and Mary Frances are doing? Because I know that you've been working very hard.
I have. Yes, I think everybody pretty much knows about the Fountain of Freedom, which is a memorial for both living and dead veterans. It isn't just for the deceased, but all veterans from all branches. And this will be at Lashley Park in the Kiwanis Veterans Garden. And it will be in the retention pond. It'll be a 15-foot multi-geyser, red, white, and blue LED lights. It's hopefully going to be very, very spectacular.
And we've got pictures of that, a rendering up on the Team Gorda website at
That's right.
teamgorda.org if you want to see what that is going to look like.
Yeah, and so I think, as I say, I think a lot of people already know about the fountain, but it's always good to kind of remind them what we're doing. We're kind of in the fundraising stage at this point. We go every Saturday and Sunday to the farmers markets. We have 20 volunteers from Team Punta that signed up for that duty, and they come as they can go, when they can with their schedule. And each day we raise $100 or $200, and by the end of the weekend, maybe we have $300 or $400. And everybody says, well, there's a lot of dollars in there. Well, those dollars add up if you get enough of them. And aside from the money, it's the exposure to everybody seeing the fountain, what we're doing, and so on. We're also doing some corporate sponsors have come up. We have Charlotte State Bank and Waste Management have come forth with donations. We have had some donations from I think these are people that a lot of veterans know. Mavis and Susan English have donated, and interestingly enough, I guess Mavis was in the hospital, and her neighbors, or not her neighbors, but her relatives wanted to send her flowers or candy or so on. She said, no, whatever you're gonna do, send a donation to the fountain, which they did. And we also had another individual who, I don't know where he came from, but he dropped a $50 check underneath the floor of the office, a team office, and he was from Niceville, Florida. So we thought,
How nice.
how nice. So it's been kind of interesting to see where the money comes from, how it comes from, and putting it all together. We have some pledges from other people and other organizations that haven't come. We don't have them in the bank yet, so I don't want to talk too much about them, but we do have other very generous donors that will be coming forth with this. So our goal is Memorial Day, but it might be 4th of July, but I don't think it'll go much beyond that where we'll be able to put the fountain up. And any money we raise over the actual cost of putting the fountain up will go toward additional beautification of the Kiwanis Veterans Garden. Every cent will stay there because it is in need of beautification. It needs some upgrading, it needs certain things done to really have the respect that is due the veterans. And also we're planning on a fundraiser, and I think Mary Frances could tell us a little bit about it. It's in the planning stages, but it's gonna happen.
We're planning on the first one being February 25th at Jack's on Marion. And what we're doing is Jack's owner, Bill Minrich, has offered to give us a percentage of the take that evening. So we're encouraging veterans and patriotic people to make a reservation on Sunday night, February 25th, to join us for dinner, and we'll have the decor set up in all red, white, and blue. This is a town of a lot of military and a lot of good American people who would want to support this, and they can do two things: support the fountain with the percentage and have a nice dinner and be with comradeship of the others who feel the same way. So we're looking forward to that first date.
Good.
Outstanding. And they've been attending so many things to try to raise money, and I think later this month, we're anticipating that the city will be announcing how much what are the proceeds from the 125th anniversary celebration. All the proceeds were designated that they're going to go to the Freedom Fountain. We just don't know what that is yet. So we're waiting on pins and needles, to see how much that's going to be as well. So it's an exciting time.
Indeed. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So what else going on?
Well, Charlie, you want to update everybody on what's going on with the County Landscape Committee?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Nancy. We, moving ahead in, well, I'd like to say leaps and bounds, but they're little steps and big steps. We've just backed away a little bit, we think, to a better approach in how we're going to define what that first model location is going to be. Rather than placing spades in the ground or whatever, we, as a committee, decided to take a digital approach. We're going to use the palette of palms, trees, etc., and digitally come up with 3 different models of the levels of gateways. We think we can get the concept across quicker that way, and in a style that can be most appealing to all of the folks that we're going to have to look at the county level to fund the project. So we're hopeful that this is going to move somewhat quicker than if we had to wait to actually put something in the ground.
Yeah, we looked at the site that was picked to do a trial was not too far north of the intersection of 776 or Veterans and US 41, where there's a Welcome to Port Charlotte sign as you're coming south on US 41. And so we were looking at that and did a site visit, but then there's some overhead wires and some other limitations where we really couldn't do the type of demonstration that we wanted. And so then we started looking at other sites, and Alan Holbach recommended a couple of sites where there is reclaim water nearby. And those are sites that we had picked for a low or a basic and a medium gateway. However, they're not sites that we would get prime attention. And we want this demonstration to be someplace where everybody can see it. So the discussion then centered around, well, what is that one location? And then it focused, as Charlie said, well, maybe what we should be looking at instead is doing some kind of a digital image that would really show what this could look like. And we've bantered around different sites around the county.
And it would give us we can use Photoshop to put in different sorts of monuments by color, by appearance, by size, or whatever, and really start a decision process a lot easier and quicker than how we were considering it in the past. Of course, I'd also be quick to mention that this isn't the end-all and be-all as far as beautification. The other part of the whole concept, we're talking about gateways, but also thoroughfares. The committee doesn't have as its mandate to look at some of the aspects that really affect what the beautification of thoroughfares. This falls in the area of land development regulations or whatever, and that was really a topic at the last joint city-county meeting back here a couple of weeks ago, specifically as architectural and signage codes have to be addressed in order to, as Commissioner Constance said, in paraphrasing, he would really like to see a seamless transition moving from Punta Gorda over the bridge into Port Charlotte. And that's going to require some very in-depth analysis and tough decisions, looking at both commercial architecture and signage as well. I know that the county is well into that, but I think there's still a fair amount of work to be done before they can really roll something out that can do the job.
The good news is, though, that there is interest. And I know that I read the newspaper, letters to the editor, people commenting on, can't we do something? And we totally agree. And we've got the attention of the decision makers now. And everyone seems to be nodding their heads and, yes, we need to do something.
Politicians are really good at nodding their heads.
Yeah, but it's, they're all on the same page, at least it seems, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And
Joe, is that you?
we're taking advantage of it.
Oh, thought it was Joe.